Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about my teenage pregnancy journey. I got pregnant at the age of 16 and now I am 30. So I would really like to share the story with you, just so you know how it's been for me. And for those of you who can relate, I just hope it can inspire you. For those who are about to become young moms or teenage moms, and I do this because I really want to help you guys. I know how it feels to have a kid at a young age. I know how it feels to have a kid when you're not ready, and how society views us and people's expectations of us. So anyway, let me talk about my story, how I got pregnant at 16 and the things that I went through. So when I found out, well, let's talk about how I found out. So I obviously came from a religious home, a Christian home, but I didn't really take my religion very seriously. But my parents were obviously were in good positions in the church. And so obviously in an African household, when your parents are in certain positions in the church, there are expectations of you and of your children. And so in the midst of that, I was fornicating, doing my own thing like the majority of other teenagers would do. And one particular month, I realized that I missed my period. And do you know what was funny? Like a few days before I had missed my period, I was having dreams of me being pregnant. But I just woke up and I was like, nah, that can't be me. I can't imagine such a thing happening to me, this and that. And so my mom was then observing me, because she knows, like, normally when I'm on my period, I'm always complaining. I don't do anything in the house. And she was like, it's been a long time since you've been like that. Have you been seeing your period? Because bear in mind, I'm 16, right? And I was like, yeah, maybe I have PCOS, like maybe my period is not coming every month anymore. I was just coming with so many excuses for her not to feel like, or for her to think that I'm just not pregnant. So the second month came and, she was observing me and I still missed my period. And so she took me to the doctor, and my heart was pounding. And I think my heart was pounding because a part of me just knew, like a part of me just knew that I was pregnant. And a part of me just did not want to believe that I was, because I couldn't picture myself in that position at 16. So we went to the doctor's appointment and my heart was like boom, 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 boom the whole time. And eventually the doctor was like, you're pregnant. And my mom was shocked, like literally devastated, because my parents had tried so much to protect me, to restrict me from going out, restrict me from dating, restrict me from talking to guys. But you know how it is, like as a parent, if your child wants to do what they want to do, they're still going to do it regardless. And so when my parents found out, it was a shock. And they had told me how it was a disgrace, and how I was a disgrace, and how I should feel ashamed of myself, and how I've disgraced the whole family, how I'm not the firstborn anymore. It was just so much negativity that had gone on for so long. And because my parents were in a very high position, my parents didn't want people to know. So, my mom only told, like, I think she told just one person, and I didn't tell my friends or anything. So when I had to go to school, because remember I'm 16, I didn't drop out of school. I still went to school, but I would wear like a baggy jacket because I didn't want my friends to know. At the time when I was pregnant at 16, it wasn't really common for a lot of young people to get pregnant. It was still a taboo at the time. Like now, people are, like, a lot of people are getting pregnant at a young age, but back then it was a taboo. This was like 2010, in the year of 2010. And I would wear baggy jackets so people wouldn't think that I was pregnant. They'll just think that I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I would also like wear clothes that weren't too fitted, so nobody in my school knew, apart from one particular teacher who had to keep her eye on me. And during those times, like, I would leave my house with so much negative vibes from everyone around me, my family, and I would go to school acting like a young, innocent girl, having fun, not thinking about pregnancy, and then I would go home crying and thinking about how I'm going to become a mom and how I'm going to, cope with all of this. Now, in terms of the father of the child, we never had a relationship. It was just all sexual. And so, you know how these things go down. Once they find out that you're pregnant, they don't want to accept it. They don't want to be there anymore. It was just a lot. And he was a player as of that time. So he loved being with different girls and doing his own thing. And he obviously didn't want, a kid as of that time. And so, as time went on, when it got to about 7 months of the pregnancy, I couldn't go to school anymore. I had to start staying at home because my belly was showing. And my parents still didn't want a lot of people to know about it because they didn't want people calling them, asking them stupid questions, or people bothering me and asking me stupid questions. And so everything was kept on the low. And to be honest with you, I quite liked it like that because I don't want people to start treating me like a mom when I'm not mentally ready to be a mom. And I didn't even see myself as a mom, even though I was carrying a baby as of the time. And so as we got to 7 months, 8 months, I was at home. Belly was getting bigger and bigger, and my body started changing in ways I wasn't expecting it to change. Like I was getting stretch marks, my neck was getting dark, my face was getting pale, my breast was getting big. Like all of this was just too much at 16. Even though now we have 16-year-olds who get their bum done, who get their breast done, their face done. But me, my body's changing naturally, and I'm just like, what's going on? And I had to start wearing, I had to change the type of bra I was wearing, change the type of underwear I was wearing. Like, it was just a lot. And I didn't really enjoy this journey of pregnancy because I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't mentally ready. I wasn't mentally prepared. And I couldn't really laugh with the people around me while I was pregnant because their mindset was, we need to make her feel bad so she knows the gravity of what she done. And I felt like for that to happen for so long wasn't really necessary because the deed had already been done. And for those of you who are wondering why we didn't go ahead with an abortion, we're Christians and we don't believe in abortion, and we don't want any innocent blood in our hands. So the Holy Spirit had told my mom for me to just go ahead with it because that was the best thing to do right now. And so we did. There were times where I did try to take some things to get rid of the pregnancy. There were times where I did try to take some substance to destroy the pregnancy, but thank God it didn't destroy me and it didn't destroy the pregnancy. One of the things that was really the driving force was I did once had a dream where the Holy Spirit had told me that if you ever try to get an abortion done, you won't be able to have a child for the rest of your life. And so at that point, my mom just withdraw. I withdraw. The option of abortion was just out of the picture straight away. And we just decided that it is what it is and we're just going to continue. And so now, the 9th month is here, and I'm hoping that once this baby comes out, everything gets better. Everyone around me will change towards me and things will just go back to normal. But I was wrong. I was really, really wrong. Things did not go back to normal. Things changed forever. Even with me, even the way I am, like my body, everything just changed. And so the 9th month was here and I went into the labor room. So first of all, they didn't tell me like my due date. I just woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I just said to myself, it's just time to push this baby out. And my mom was like, okay, let's take you to the hospital, let's get your bag, everything, let's go. And so I went there and the nurse was like, your water hasn't broke yet. And I just told her, look, I'm not going home. I'm pushing this baby out today. I'm not going home like this. And so they said, okay, we'll keep you in here. We'll just keep watching you, this and that. So eventually my water broke. I just hate the way they put their hands down there to see how long you're dilute, like, what is it called, diluted or dilated, I don't know what they call it. There's a way they measure when you're, I don't want to say it, but when it's getting bigger and bigger for the baby to come out. I just hate the way they do it with their fingers. I hope they find like a better way to do it. And when I think it's called dilated. Yeah, I think it's dilated. I think you have to go up to like, is it 10 centimeters or something like that? And then they said to me that, okay, we can take you to the labor room now, in order for you to get ready to push the baby out. And so when I got to the labor room, I don't know what it was, but I wasn't even scared of the labor room, because I think in my mind, I'm just like, please just take this baby out so I can just go back and live a normal life. And I got into the labor room and they're like, okay, we're going to get ready to push. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I want to sleep. Can I go to bed now? And they looked at me like, what? Like, the whole time you've been here, you weren't sleeping. Why do you want to sleep now? I said, look, I'm too tired. I'm too tired to push anything. I just want to go to bed. I want to sleep. Please put me to bed. So they said, okay, we'll let you sleep for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, you're going to start pushing. So they woke me up 1 hour later. I said, look, I'm tired. I don't want to push. Can I eat? They're like, no, you're not allowed to eat when you're in the labor room. It's time to push. So this old woman, this old lady was like, okay, stop pushing. I'm like, how? How do I do that? How do I push? She's like, push. I said, how? Because I didn't read pregnancy books. Like, I just didn't enjoy the journey. I was living two different lives. I was living a life of a teenager at 16 and being a mom at 16. So I'm like two different, I'm at two different places mentally. And so there was this young girl who was on training, and she just told me that just picture yourself being in the toilet about to push some kind of poop out, and just do that right now. So I said, okay, I get what you mean. So I started pushing, and the baby's head was in the right position. And once I started pushing, the baby decided to turn its head to the left. And the nurse was like, even I was like, so they started giving me ice. And the nurse was like, it seems like your baby is tired. Seems like your baby want to sleep. I'm like, I told you, Law, I want to sleep. I was tired. And so they were telling my mom, maybe it's best for me to do a C-section. My mom was like, I rebuke that, because my mom has been through that C-section a few times and she knows how painful it was. And the plan after I give birth is for me to go back to school. That is literally the plan. And so when they had suggested a C-section for my mom started praying. They were all looking at my mom like she's crazy. My mom started praying for me, interceding for me, and it just made me realize how important it is as a woman to be with a man who can pray for you, because when you're in the labor room, that is your weakest moment, and all you want is a man who can pray for you. Like, what's in his bank account won't even matter when you're in that labor room. You just want a safe delivery. So my mom started praying. She started calling her pastor to pray for me, so I wouldn't get the C-section and I would just give birth. So they gave me an epidural, and when they gave me an epidural, after a few minutes, I realized my legs were numbed. I was freaking out because I thought it was going to be numb like that for life. And the nurse were like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't tell you before that your legs were going to be numbed. It's all right, your legs will go back to normal tomorrow. I was like, phew, don't scare me like that again. And so the prayer was going on from my mom's side, from my pastor's side, everyone. And then I believe that this was a God thing. A nurse who had seen me from day one of my pregnancy journey, she just decided to walk into the room, even though she wasn't supposed to. She just came into the room and she looked at me and she's like, oh my God, today's your delivery day. And I said, what's the problem? And so they were telling her how I'm tired, the baby's tired, and my mom doesn't want me to have a C-section. So this particular nurse, she got this thing like a magnet. I don't know what it's called. It's like a magnet. she put it near my, vagina, and the baby's head was attached to it, and then she just used that to bring the baby out. And that was how the baby came out. And I truly believe that was God. God, with the help of my mom's prayer, with the help of pastor's prayer, that really made that labor room a lot easier. Like, the labor room is such a dangerous, delicate, sensitive room. It's not a room to be joked with. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is very, very delicate. Like, some people die in there. And so once that was over, now it was time for me to play mummy role, which I just didn't know what to do. So the nurse were like, you need to wrap your baby. Your baby is cold. I was like, oh shit, I forgot. I forgot to check the baby's diapers. I was so exhausted that I did not even smell that the baby had poop and the diaper needed to be changed. I didn't even know like the right position to carry the baby, and some of you might be like, oh, did you not go to them classes where they teach you how to look after a baby? No, because I was in school, and mentally I just didn't want to go because I just didn't feel like a mom. I felt really awkward to be around moms that were way older than me, and for me to be the only young person there, and nobody had that time to take me to such a place, because again, what I had done was a disgrace. So I had to adjust to all of this. And then the funniest one, I woke up, a few days after I'd given birth, and I was at home, and my top over here was wet. And I was like, why is my top so wet? And then I realized it was the breast milk. So because obviously my child didn't want breast milk, my breast, the milk in my breast started leaking. And I didn't even know there was a thing called breast pads. I wasn't even aware of breast pads. So my mom had to start getting me breast pads and, put them. And I had to start changing my breast pads like every 2 hours. This was crazy. Like, like when you have your period, you have to change your period pads. But breast pads, like, oh my, it was a lot. And I had to be very conscious. When I was in school, I would always feel my breast, just to make sure that the wet, it's not too wet. And I had to change it from time to time. And so after birth, I just felt like I was living two different lives, the life of a teenager and the life of a mom. And that transition, let me tell you something. Like, I still did not feel like a mom until even, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, even till this day, I still don't feel like a mom. I don't know. I haven't really tapped into motherhood yet. I just haven't tapped into it. I don't know. I still don't feel like a mom. I really don't. And I think it's because mentally I'm just not there yet. I'm not there yet. And I think I've done a video on this channel about being mentally prepared before you push the baby out, before you have your baby, because when you're not mentally prepared, like, you can't fully embrace motherhood. And I think for me, it was hard for me to embrace motherhood because my mom is the one playing mommy role in my son's life than me. So I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't really embraced it fully, even till this day. So that was really it with my pregnancy journey. And everything changed. Like, my friendship group changed. Obviously, after a while, people started to people found out that I was pregnant, and my education, it slacked a little bit, but I did well in my grades and I passed it. Even though I didn't really get to do what I really wanted to do, but all things work together for good for Christ. And so my career path had changed. Me having a kid at 16 is the reason why this channel even exists. Do you know what I mean? It's the reason why this channel exists. So this is really my story on how I got pregnant at 16, my pregnancy journey and how it was for me. But obviously, as time goes on this channel, as I continue to do more videos, you're going to get to know me more, and you're going to hear different things in my experience. Because the thing with me is, I don't expose everything in one go. That's the kind of person I am. Like, like bit by bit, bit by bit, you're going to learn more and you're going to know more. You just can't know everything in one day with me. Like, I'm layers and layers and layers and layers. That's just how I am. So anyway, I hope I've left a lot of information in this video. If there's anything you want to ask me, hit the comment section. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at The Rich Mom Mindset. I will leave the link to that on the description box. Okay, so hit the like button and I'm gonna see you on my next video. Bye.